gonna start like that.
Okay.
Did you see my boy Gyökeres?
Your boy.
Yeah, everybody's talking about, we need to let him go, this and that. He can in the Premier League. There's no space, so on. Feed him the ball.
Yeah, it is interesting how Kai Havertz coming back and being a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think it's just positive in terms of play. I feel like Martin Odegaard really wants to hold the ball to either distribute or wait for a particular pass through the middle, even with a low block, which is not exactly how you combat that defensive situation. Kai Havertz was playing a lot more forward as well. And if you noticed, so one thing that was interesting was that they've run a 4-3-3 the entire season, really for the last 3 years. And what ends up happening is your attacking midfielder is on the right side. It's usually Odegaard. Yeah. And he's the one that drifts a little bit more forward. Yeah. Whereas the lineup this time was a bit more of a 4-3-3, but the attacking midfielder was at the top of the pyramid already. And that's where Havertz was. And what that allowed for was a bit more central play from Rice and Zubimendi, with neither one of them needing to really be the one that falls back consistently. They both kind of sat in the middle and dictated pace, and Havertz kind of ended up being a second center forward at times with Madueke and Trossard and Martinelli out wide at different moments. And that seemed to really work. I do think that there is a place in which Odegaard can do the same thing. I just think that tactically Arteta's kind of rearranged some things, but also Havertz is a bit more positive in terms of the build-up and not necessarily waiting for the exact right moment, just getting more moments. Yeah. And that's one thing that I think that he's really made an impact with overall so far, coming back from this long-term injury.
So far, I would say Arsenal has, they're trying to find that perfect balance, right? The one thing I would say, though, will they win the league this year? I think yes. Unless miraculously they
don't even
say
that. Don't even float that out
but
there
I don't
as a
want to jinx
possibility.
it. But because it has happened before where the bottle at the last games. But
and not even just Arsenal, just the fact that this thing is not it's very seldomly wrapped up in February or even really in March. It's April and May where if you're running away with the league, it's really not even statistically inevitable until that April, early April runs around anyway. So it is still too early to guarantee anything, but I don't feel like it's that they're overly shaky right now. I just think that it's the way that the leagues used to feel like consistently before, one to maybe two clubs really start running the gauntlet every single year. We're getting used to seeing the high 90s or, crushing 100 points from the City side, so that when no one's operating that way, not even City, but anyone in general, we think that they don't have what it takes. And it's like, no, this is what a competitive league looks like. And the Premier League has not always been something that a one horse just kind of runs away with every single year, minus one.
Yeah, I think they have what it takes. The other thing, though, they are having the pleasure of having a deep team. So they can always pull in their bag of tricks. They have a lot of players right now. Yeah. And unless injuries just happen, which is positive for them because now there's not just one person that can create or can score. There's a lot of people. So you have the choice, right? Yeah. The other thing is, I was always against this idea that this Gyökeres is not good. And it's crazy because I started looking at it today. I was like, you know what? Let me pull some stats. Let me look a little bit. What's going on? Why is it that when he has a more direct playing around him, he can operate more? Now, I remember someone, it was a pundit, at least a lot of pundits, they kept saying, well, in the Premier League, there's no space. Actually, there's false. It's not that there's no space. It's the tactics you play. Right. Because when Haaland came, there was space, 40%. Jamie Vardy, who played all his time, he needed space, and he scored most of his goal with space.
Oh, yeah.
Thierry Henry, they will say, oh, well, probably it's in the job. It's not that there's no space. Your team have to create space. Now, when you look at when Saka is here, when other guys there, when Declan Rice, when they're running the ball, the problem is the break, low block, and the start show horsing. Yeah. That obviously won't create space. If you want your guy to run in, there's no space for running. When you have Madueke and you have this guy, what happened? Martinelli, Havertz, it's more a direct football. They don't break. Yeah. So they go by the byline, break in, put it in. Or the look, through ball. Or
Right.
if it bounces back, Martinelli takes it. Now you have to ask yourself, why is Gyökeres more effective?
Yeah.
Is the result of direct play.
Direct play, and I do think that he might be finding a better run of form right now anyway, because that first goal that he had where he takes the one touch,
that's another thing,
and he goes to ground for the strike.
Yeah.
He has not been able to do. He's had that space before, but he's consistently had one or two extra touches or tries to put his back to goal. You know, like he decided to be a bit more direct as well in terms of what he was going to contribute. But yeah, you're right.
It's more comfortable too.
Yeah, and because it gives you more opportunities also. And that's what we learned with City and Holland as well, where it's like, just because you have a guy that bags a bunch of goals does not mean that if you give him 4 chances, you're getting 4 goals.
Yeah,
that's not how that works. And so we've said this for weeks now. I've probably said this all damn season, it feels like now. Instead of holding the ball and waiting for the right time, because the low block's not going to just dissolve.
And you know what's
crazy? You don't close your eyes and it just goes away. You've got to fire things in and be more concerned with recycling the second ball, not holding on for the single shot. Yeah. You're not a sniper.
For that,
no one.
Perfect.
Yeah, no one here's a sniper. Don't wait for the shot to come to you. You have to take these chances, and the more chances that you create, the more like guys like Gyökeres can really contribute and find their finishing touch with. And that's where I think that Madueke really shines. He didn't have a great game, but I do think that he has a lot of energy, and as long as he can contribute feeding the ball back into the box, either through a cross or through something laid off just outside the box for a Declan Rice who can hit those things, I feel like he's wanting to do a little too much in terms of skill, maybe a little too much flair. And I think that he's interested in putting himself in a position for a shot for himself, not at the risk of destroying the build-up play in general. But when he does hold the ball up, I think it's because he's looking for a strike. It's like, you've got enough skill, you've got enough pace on that wing that you should spend the entire day running that fullback ragged with a cut inside, cut outside. You can cross from both feet.
Yeah.
Just make him run, make him sweat, break him down, and they're going to have to sub him off and then sub you off, and then maybe it's Bukayo Saka coming in from the bench, or they have Martinelli coming in on the right sometimes, and that seems to be working as good as well.
That's 6 goals for him, January, February. That's 6 goals for Gyökeres. So that's a good tally. That's 15 goals from the last, 8 games or 9 games?
Yeah.
You know,
early on, he was padding out that stuff with the penalties. You have to consider that sometimes as well, where it's like, Haaland's the penalty taker, Cole Palmer is the penalty taker, Mo Salah is as well. So, I mean, it's usually a top goal scorer that is your penalty guy. But early on, that was the talking point of, if you take away I think it was the 3 penalties that he had in the first dozen weeks or so, he had 2 goals from outside play, and you're like, okay, that's something worth talking about. It is. But these goals are now coming from outward plays where, because they're not drawing a ton of penalties, Arsenal. No. They're drawing more corners than penalties, which it seems like works in their favor pretty well.
Which is, before we end this, which brings me to think about it. If you think about it, the reason why some games are really stuck and you feel like you have to have a set piece to score is a result of the 2-minute hold up. At the final third, and it's crazy because it's most of the time the average is 2 minutes. When they go, especially when Odegaard has the ball, he breaks, stops, goes back.
Yep, and if you look at some of the build up that leads to those corners, they are almost looking to get corners than get chances on net. Yeah, you can tell that they're trying to really get a couple of stabby lunges in the final, like in inside the 18-yard box, hoping that the defense fields it out for a corner to be safe, when ultimately if you're a set piece driven team, that's unsafe. You almost, with this Arsenal side, the answer to remedy that, feed the ball back in, because they're not going to take a chance with it.
That's true. Well, like I said, I'm going to end like this.
Oh, Jesus.
Didn't you see when he fell down, he was like
on the ground?
Get this in before.
Yep.
I was like,
he should have hit that and then gave a little military crawl. That'd been awesome.
I was like, damn, man, you can't wait.
Nope, you got to do it now.